So I've sorted through all the miniatures I got in the case, and the distribution isn't as bad as I thought it was opening it up. It does look like I got at least one of everything, and we'll kind of walk through the distribution. You can see the Rune Giant and the Glabrezu and the Karzog statue in the back. I have some D&D minis set to the side to kind of compare and show. But we'll look at the rares first. It was 32 packs I opened, and I believe there's 16 rares in the set. So I got all 16 rares and then 4 extra rares. So I got 20 rares out of 32 packs. So it does not look like you're guaranteed a rare in every pack, which I believe was the case with most of the D&D miniatures. But you can see most of the rares are named characters, I think. The Stone Golem isn't. The Forge Fiend isn't. The Young Red Dragon isn't. All the rest of them are named characters, but they could be substituted for mages or nobles or other undead, other stone giants. The uncommons where you get most of the duplicates on the named characters, but you can see you got most of these right here are named characters. There's a couple of goblins in there. But you see you can get a couple of Lamias. The 3 Barghests was kind of disappointing because that's not something I'll probably need a whole lot of, but I did get a good chunk of ogres in there, which is good. Some bears, some other types of Lamias, some Yetis. Got a couple of Wendigos, but that's not a big deal. I did get a fair amount of stone giants. I got 5 stone giants and 2 Montmurians, so you need a lot of stone giants for the adventure. The commons, well, first of all, let's look. These are the duplicates of the named characters in the uncommons, so you get a lot of those. But I guess they could be used for PCs or double up on other NPCs you might have in your game. The commons are where I really wish I'd have got more of a volume, but with only 4 figures a pack, I guess it really kind of limits it. I've only got 1 bugbear hero there. I only got 2 faceless stalkers. I only got 1 of this Lamia Kukurima, or Kucharima, whatever it is. Most of the rest of them, I got about 3 of them. It was just I think the Harpy, the Bugbear, and the Kukurima, I only got 1 of each. And I know in the Runelords adventure, you have an encounter with a dozen of these. I think most Harpies you see is 3, and most Bugbears you see is 1. You got some of the others, like this warrior, it's just a human fighter. You have an encounter that has about 9 of those in Rise of the Runelords, but you can always substitute other fighters in. That's not a big deal. Same thing for these. You can substitute something else in. It just would have been nice to have some more of those, some more Harpies. I did get 3 Ogrekin, which is a nice distribution. I think that's the most you hit in an encounter. But all in all, it's pretty good distribution. It's a little disappointing when you get all these named characters when you'd rather get some more monsters in there with them instead. I really don't know how you solve that problem unless they increase the amount of miniatures they put in a blister, but then price and everything else goes up. We'll look in comparison to some huges. This is a huge white dragon. You can kind of see it in comparison to the Karzog statue and the Treachery Demon. They're not much different in size. The Karzog statue is really, really big in comparison. It's almost as big as the Gargantuan Rune Giant. But I have the D&D, that's the Gargantuan White Dragon, and that's it in comparison to, see if I get some better light on that. there they are in comparison. So you see it's pretty comparable in size. That is the one thing really missing from a lot of the miniatures lines, or the gargantuan creatures. I think D&D looking, they only had about half a dozen or so throughout their entire run. And I know there's several more gargantuan creatures just in the Rise of the Runelords adventure. I believe there's a gargantuan demon thing, and there's some sort of gargantuan squid monster. But this is kind of an overview of everything I got. Again, the statue and the Glaber Zoo I bought separately because there were only 4 huge monsters and I really only wanted the 2. So I didn't feel like trying to buy random boosters for them. But that's everything I got in Rise of the Runelords, the pre-painted miniature.